Hi everyone, I'm back with another crochet video. Now I'm sure, like me, you crocheters out there have seen these crochet fans. I love them. They're a crochet twist on ornamental embroidered fans. So, back to these fans. I've got 5 of these frames from Timu. Thought I ordered the circular ones, but never mind, I've got the flower ones. Now, I've already made one by modifying a granny square from the Inside Crochet magazine. That was a video a week or two back, I think. I'll link it at the end. So this leaves me 4 of these frames to play with. I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to go with them. So I'm going to sketch out some designs. I'm not sure if I'm aiming for more functional fans, as it is quite warm in the UK here at the moment, or if I'm going for more of an ornamental. I think I'm leaning more towards the ornamental side, so very showy fan, but we'll see where the sketches take me. For my first design, I decided to lean into the shape of the fan. So I went for a flower design. Originally I was thinking a very multicolored daisy with each of the petals being in different colour of the rainbow. But I quickly gave up on this design and decided to go for a traditional white daisy instead. But with me only using one colour for all of the 8 petals, I decided instead of making them full, I'd play with negative space. You'll see what I mean with this as I go forward. As you can see that I'm using a 6mm hook, so that means I am holding 3 strands of double knit yarn together. And I'm going to be starting here with my yellow yarn for the yellow centre of the daisy. I'm starting with a magic ring, and I am going to do 8 cluster or puffball stitches into the magic ring. I did do a second round of puffball stitches as well, and I did these as increases. That's a full round of 8 increases, so that's 2 puffball stitches in each stitch all the way around. I also threw in a chain 1 just to space them a little bit, but I wasn't too worried about this laying completely flat, as I did want it to puff up slightly, and I was able to achieve that when I added on the white. When I added the white, I just did a full round of double crochets. That's UK terms, so that's single crochets US. That just helped as well bring in the puffball stitches to create more of a raised area for the centre. Then it was time to start working the petals. So I started off with a simple chain, taking me from the yellow centre of the daisy to the frame. Then I ran a series of double crochet along the frame, making sure I was catching the frame in all of my stitches. Then I chained one, turned, did a half treble crochet in each stitch all the way back down to the center of the daisy. Skipped the next stitch on the white round, put a slip stitch into the one next to it and repeated the process. I repeated it 8 times as we have 8 curved sections on the frame itself, so essentially the frame has 8 petals. And as you can see here, the spaces left are what lends itself to looking more like a daisy. Now when I did look at this, I did think it was a little bit plain, it just needed something else, so I found this lovely wooden button in my button box and simply stitched that in the centre, and I think that's all it really needed. Okay, fan number 2. What I wanted from this one was a kaleidoscope twirling pattern with lots and lots of colours. Originally I had planned 8 colours that would start off all clustered quite small in the middle, and then each colour section would get larger with increases and go out into the individual petals. Like I say, I did originally want 8 colours, but circumstances meant that I only ended up with 4 colours. And to be honest, I'm very glad I did only end up with 4 colours, because as you'll see at the end, if I'd had 8, I really think it would have been too busy and just too dizzy to look at, really. So I've started this pattern with a magic circle, and I have put 8 treble stitches, that's UK terms, so that's double stitches US terms, into the magic circle. Now as you can see here, for each treble I have changed colours. So my colour pattern that I chose to go with was blue, pink, yellow, green, and then that was repeated. So I have 8 stitches in this magic circle, but each working on that colour pattern. And to be honest, that's all I continued to do. I increased by 8 for each round, making sure that my coloured sections increased with the stitches. So the first round had 1 blue stitch, then 1 pink, then 1 yellow, then 1 green, repeated. Round 2 had 2 blue stitches, 2 pink stitches, 2 yellow stitches, 2 green stitches, repeated. And that continues out. To be honest, this was really easy to do. I thought it would be harder. And I do think I made my life a lot easier by dividing off my coloured balls. So I was actually working with 8 balls instead of 4. But I really just got into the flow with it. I made sure that the increases were happening towards the end of the coloured sections to give more of a flip effect. And I really got in the swing of it. So I actually don't know off the top of my head how many rounds I did. Looking at this image as I do the voiceover, maybe 6 or 7 rounds. But anyway, you can see how it works. It's worked really nice, and I love how these pastel colours have worked together. And then simply the last row was worked over the frame, and I just made sure it was nice and tight. And then when it came to weaving in the ends, I just made sure that as I was weaving, I was looping over the frames just to give it that little bit more security. And then I decided instead of a tassel for the end of this fan, I would instead give it a little chain stitch using all of the colours together. I love this one. It looks like sherbet lollipop. Okay, design number 3. I want to do a cobweb. I don't know why. So, it didn't really work with any sort of pattern in mind for this one. I decided to start with 3 treble crochet, that's UK terms, so that's a double crochet US terms, into a magic circle. But from that, I just, I don't know, I just kind of felt my way through this pattern. To create the gaps, I did chain stitches. I made sure to stack my treble stitches on top of each other. Sometimes I did more treble stitches in certain sections, and sometimes I didn't. And then instead of having every single stitch of the last round go over the frame, I chose just to connect the web to the frame with a couple of stitches. At first, I wasn't too taken with this design, I have to admit. But then when I added the stitches down the handle, I really think that added to it and just gave it that little extra piece. I was going to put a spider on it, just like probably a little pom-pom. But the more I look at it, the more I don't think it needs it. Yeah, this was one that when I was making it, I wasn't confident with it, but now I look at it, I'm really proud of it. Okay, so I had intended to do a 4th design in this video based on this sketch here. I wanted it to be sort of like a sun and moon pattern, but I've pulled my back this week and it's just too uncomfortable to sit and film it. Literally, it's only comfy to like lay flat at the moment, so hopefully I'll be back on form next week and I can crack on, and I will do this fan at another time and I'll incorporate it into another video, or maybe I'll get some more fans if this video gets a lot of hits. And yeah, I'm gonna go do some stretches for my back now, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye YouTube.